Good morning, guys. Bob Ichino from Path Trading Partners along with Mike Arnold. We are going to do a quick crude oil update and mix it with a couple of equities. Crude oil, 91% compliance so far with OPEC. And as I mentioned the other day on my CME Group Futures Today videos, as well as on TV, the window for crude oil to rally seems to be closing. From a fundamental perspective, again, 91% compliance by OPEC, and we're not getting that breakout that OPEC wants. So you could potentially see some jawboning there, but feels and looks weak. Mike will show you on the chart what we're seeing there. And then we want to go over a couple of quick stocks. General Motors reported this morning. They beat on EPS quite handily. They came out with a 128 earnings per share. They were expected at 114. The whisper number was about 120. 43.9 actual on revenue versus an estimate of 42.2. So they beat that by about 10%. And then we have Vulcan Materials coming out later today. Vulcan Materials has an interesting chart pattern that I want you guys to see, and Mike will go over that as well. Vulcan Materials is looking for 83 cents a share, and that the whisper number is also 83 cents a share. So nothing crazy on that. The stock symbol on that is VMC. But let me turn it over to Mike so he can show you all three of these.
Okay, great. Thanks, Bob. As we talked about first, crude. We could not get above our key defining point here to challenge the 55 level. We've now fallen off. Yesterday, we did not close below the trend line. Today looks like we will, but these are more scalp trades for intraday traders. We have nothing, even if we close down here on a daily basis, because our next target area is the 52.19, 52.20 area. And then our next below that, we immediately have the 51.87 to 51.90 area. And then if we do get further weakness, if we do get something that causes crude to collapse further, our next target is the 50.75 level. So those are the key levels you'll want to watch for the downside. And again, nothing on the radar screen for the upside. As Bob mentioned, GM came out with their earnings beat. The stock is not rallying at this point. This is a weekly chart, and this is pre-market data in it. We have a massive potential double that, if it does trigger, has the R zone out of the way, which is one of the key elements. So watch for this, but this would have to be closed on a weekly basis. If you get a close below the 34.67 with GM on the weekly basis, so if it were to close this Friday or next Friday, below that 34.67 level, then we are good to go on a triggered short with the targets, full target being 31.60. The conservative target is 32.37, which also coincides with a major breakout zone and prior major resistance. So you could turn this into a two-target trade. On Vulcan, which Bob says comes out later, we also have a massive potential weekly double top on this with the rotation zone out of the way. We'd need a close below the 120.79 level for a trigger, which would have to happen again on a weekly basis. This would only be a single target trade, so it probably have to be entered to get proper reward to risk. It would have to be entered on some kind of close and then a pullback, but the single target on there is 107.75, which coincides really nicely with these prior lows, and you see this prior double bottom, which did trigger. And it was not tradable, but it did trigger, creating this up move, which now we look to possibly reverse. That's all we have for you right now. We'll give you another update on other stocks as they unfold, and if any of these trades become invalid, we will let you know. Talk to you guys later. Back to you, Bob.
While Mike was talking, Vulcan Materials came out. Again, earnings per share was expected at 83 cents, came out at 69 cents. That is a 16% surprise to the downside. Revenue came out at 914 million. I'm sorry, revenue was expected. 914.5 million, came out at 872.9 million. So pretty weak numbers there. Growth did come out a little bit better. So Vulcan came out. Looks like it's holding in okay right now in the pre-market. We'll see when everything opens. Thanks, Mike. Thanks, guys, for watching Money Path Podcast and PathTradingPartners.com.